What's good? How y'all doing this evening? Welcome back to the Forever I Love Atlanta Sports Podcast. This is your boy The Dunn with my co-host Rick Flex. What's good, man?
Hey man, what's up? Hey, man, a long week for a lot of different reasons. Time change, a lot of things going on in the world. I'm ready for some college football, man. I need a change of scenery.
Yeah, man. It has been a long week, man. It's just been a lot of stuff going on. But
Hey, all I know is it's 5:30. I look outside at work and I'm like, it's 9 o'clock, right? No, it's 5:30. I gotta get back to that.
yeah, man. It's just man. I'm telling you, man. This is hibernation with
Huh,
season right here, man. I just want to just go to bed at 6 o'clock and don't wake up to 8 o'clock in the morning.
no doubt.
But yeah, welcome back, y'all. This is Rivalry Week. We're talking the big game this week, the world's largest outdoor cocktail party, if I said it right. And we got our boy back from last year. Nick, what's good, man? Let everybody know who you
Hey,
are again and let everybody know where they can find you.
how y'all doing? My name's Nick Knudesen. I write on a website called Read and Reaction. You can find my stuff there. A lot of Gator centric. Uh, take my fair shots at Georgia too in a few articles, and then I also have a podcast called American Football Stories. So we try to be a little more neutral on that. Just talk straight football. A lot of gambling advice, and we cover the games each week, and we try to land a couple interviews. We just had Kevin Kelly, the high school coach that never punts from Arkansas. We just had him on a couple weeks ago. That was a great interview.
Nice.
Awesome guy. So yeah, be sure to check out American Football Stories podcast.
Heck yeah.
All right, look, hit me with that link when we get off so we can all follow each other and subscribe to y'all if y'all got a YouTube channel or whatnot.
Yes, sir. We'll do. We'll do.
All right. Hey, everybody who listening tonight, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed to the channel. Also, hit that like button, share this content out with other college sports fanatics, and hit us up in the comment section. As always, come holla at your hometown sports podcast. All right. Rick, man, what run down the news in college sports this week, man, in the state of Georgia.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, honestly, there ain't been much news in the state. Like, we'll get into the scores and the upcoming games, but to get to, I mean, we say the biggest outdoor. I guess this year it's going to be the biggest indoor cocktail party. So we'll see. As far as nobody being able to actually be able to game much, but the biggest news is out of Georgia. We know Richard LeCount unfortunately was in a pretty scary accident. Man, prayers up. As you guys know, I'm not a Georgia fan necessarily, but I am a fan of football. I'm a fan of sports, and I'm a fan of the players. So a very, very scary incident on Halloween night involving a motorcycle crash. It was bleak there for a little while, per the reports come out. He's out of the hospital now, clearly out indefinitely. But, I mean, look, I mean, you think about it. First team All American, let's just get to the game. First team All American, safety he's got going. That's a huge blow to Georgia's defense. All right, so the news out of Georgia is they're beat up, man. I mean, right now they're beat up. LeCount's out. Julian Rochester, undisclosed. He's one of their starting defensive tackles. He's going to be out. Jordan Davis, they're calling it game time. I've heard reports he's going to be out. With an elbow injury from the Kentucky game, one of the starting defensive linemen. So that's the heavy news that's carrying the state coming into the game that's going to decide the East. Is just the health of Georgia. Kirby's done a good job of kind of downplaying it, but now we get to the depth charts. Now we get down to nitty gritty. A couple days before the game, they're going to be battle tested. I understand next man up, but it's hard to. You don't replace a Richard LeCount. I don't care what you say. You can't. And I think that Nick can agree. Even being we wanted to be biased, but you can't replace a Richard LeCount.
No, I mean he's one of the best playmakers on the defensive side of the ball in the SEC. I mean every time you flip on Georgia, he's a total ball hawk. That's a physical safety that he's always around when there's a big play going on. He's always around. That number 2 is always around there. But I also heard that Monty Rice and the safety Lucene were a little bit banged up too. Probably going to play, but a little bit banged up. So that's damn near half your defense right there.
Yeah, no, I think they might just be more of a out there, see what they can go. Like you said, I would be shocked if they truly, obviously go over play, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know how much of the game they'll truly play. So yeah, they're listed as probable, but yeah, unlikely that they're really able to make the impact that they need them to make. So it's gonna. We'll get to the game in a minute, but it's really gonna be interesting with clearly one of the best defenses in the country. We'll see how the recruiting has been now. We'll see the next man up mentality and see how their player development has come to kind of replace those key guys. So it's going to be interesting though, but I'm going to keep my eye on that. Put it that way. I'll definitely keep my eye
Do we
on
have
that.
details on that accident? Because I've just read a bunch of vague stuff about a crash. So did he tear his knee up? Did he break a leg or two ankles or something? Or
yeah. So at first it was, hey, he done broke 4 or 5 ribs, and then the reports came back that they were just bruised. You know what I mean? So like it's I don't want to say TMZ-ish, but it's almost like, oh man, somebody of high profile caliber came out. What's going on? So it went from like the grimmest of news to honestly not being that bad. I mean, if he's already out of the hospital now, then kudos to him, prayers up. But the details, I mean, I got bruised ribs, and I don't know what's broken. I know there are a few areas, that didn't, come out completely unscathed, but he came out lucky to be alive per reports. So my thing is this though. Come on, man! It's Halloween night. What are you even doing on a motorcycle? I ain't trying to criticize you, but what are you doing anyway? I mean, come on, let's.
Yeah,
Those
that's
things.
crazy. But you got to think of that, man. He's a kid, so it's
He's-
you
this
can't
guy's
say
all right.
you
He's
can't
a
say
man.
we didn't. But
Nah, he's a man staring at millions of dollars right
yeah,
now.
but at the same time though, man, you got to think, man. When you was 20, 21, you didn't
At
do
20
nothing stupid.
I wasn't a first team All American ready to get drafted either in the first round.
Well, what's
Hey,
Athens? I've not been on campus in Athens, but I know in Gainesville, scooters are a pretty popular form of transportation. Like the little motorcycle 4-line scooter type things. You get a lot of guys get around on that. Is that the way it is on campus at UGA?
they use things like that.
I mean, yeah, but I
But
mean,
it's kind of hard though because it's hilly. You pretty much in
Yeah,
the foothills of the mountains up there. So,
yeah.
but but other than that, man, he just
At least he's out of the hospital.
he had no business riding it. But at the end of the day, man, you still gotta take into account they still kids. They bust their
Yeah,
behinds day in and day out, practice and games and stuff like that, conditioning. Sometimes they may say, okay, well, this ain't that. This 10 minutes of a joyride, this ain't gonna kill me. And lo and
yep.
behold, you got hurt off of it. Just wish him a speedy recovery.
yeah, but like he was on a dirt bike. You know what I'm saying? That ain't a scooter; it's a dirt bike.
Yeah.
So I mean, come on, just be smarter, man. You going first round? Don't get off a dirt bike, bro. Glad you're okay though.
All right.
But all is quiet. I mean, we went ahead and obviously Collins had went ahead and got his extension. We already talked about that, but
Yeah.
pretty quiet on the Southern and the state end, just kind of because of some of the beatdowns that were taken. Especially on the Georgia State side. I mean, you want to talk about awakening? I mean, I know Coastal Carolina's good, but hello, let's throw up a goose egg and get blown up. So it's pretty quiet. I think there's a lot of just back to work and back to fundamentals, and
Yeah.
not really much to talk about on the bright side right now. And Georgia decides the main UGA bound.
But in state, that was that was way disappointing because remember they went into that game as like one of the top 10 teams in scoring in FBS, and they ain't put not 1 point on the board. So
It was a shocking score because it was a 2-point spread going into the game, wasn't it?
yep, sure
Yeah,
was.
People expected Georgia State to play right with them. Yeah.
And
I got a question for y'all. I know y'all Atlanta guys. How you feeling about what Jeff Collins is building at Georgia Tech? I know we're here to talk about Georgia, Florida, but while I got you guys, that Jeff Sims to Mark Gibbs combo seems pretty awesome.
I think he's doing a good job. You're not gonna really see anything for real. Probably in the next year or two.
Yeah.
I know a lot of Tech fans right now. They're upset because of how we getting blown out of the water with opponents. But then they calling for this man head, and I'm like, look,
Get out of here.
You got to give this man time. Y'all done gave Paul Johnson too much time, and y'all was okay with that. But now y'all see this man coming in, and y'all he ain't even completed 2 seasons yet, and y'all want to say, oh man, we need to get rid of this man. I'm like,
the problem is you got to give it time because he's changing the whole identity of
exactly.
Okay, so you got to let the fruits of the labor come, and it's going to take time. Okay, I'm happy to see an air raid, more of an air raid attack. As a Georgia native, I was tired of that triple option. Let's be honest with you, I was tired of seeing it. So you got to get the right players in, and he's still got to recruit those players he needs to fill the roles that he's trying to obtain on the field every day. So it's going to take time, but I mean, 31-13 against Notre Dame, was it? Something like that? I mean, not only that was a complete blowout, it wasn't 51-0. I mean, he's going to be okay. He's going to snag a signature win here, I think. I can't really call Florida State signature win this year. So
not right now.
But he will. He's going to sneak up on somebody next year, and they're going to come in flat, and he's going to catch them.
I'm interested to see what he could do building up that defense in the next couple of years, because I like the fact Sims and Gibbs are great building blocks on the offensive side, but if he builds up that defense to be something like top 3 or 4 in the ACC, that could be a really tough out. Georgia Tech could be a very tough out the next couple of years.
He's making Georgia Tech, kind of sexy again. He's selling it, people looking at it, and just to use the terms, and that's been a long time. You think Georgia Tech, you think IT, you know what I mean? But he's making it. He's appealing to people, and he's using the whole
marketing.
Yeah, no kidding, man. He would be. I don't know what his background is. I need to do more research, but yeah, that dude could be a salesman. He could be a marketer. He's bringing a 4-4 back for sure.
Yeah. I love they got some of the better uniform combos anymore too. I like all the different combos they bust out every week. Some of them are misses, but you know what? When you go that diverse with your group of uniforms, not all of them are going to be awesome.
I mean, that guy's got to have a contract with Waffle House by now. Jeez.
All the Waffle House there, man. I'm surprised ain't nobody got no clogged arteries or anything like that.
I know, right? But as far as this past week, man, UGA, man, I don't know, man. I don't know how to really react to that game other than, man, what a disappointment. No offense to Kentucky because they do have a pretty darn good defense, but man, I mean, you talk about flat. You want to talk about? I mean, I don't know what Damon Mathis did to piss Kirby off so bad, besides have a bad first, half in his first ever start. It's so bad that, that they were talking, transfer portal already. I mean, look, at the end of the day, we saw what Stetson can do. The kid can make plays. He is quick. He can get out of the pocket. But if you don't get out of the pocket, all you got to do is throw your hands up, dude. The dude's short as me. They're going to bat the ball down at the end of the day. It is what it is. That's the truth of the matter, okay? Hey, I like his tenacity. I do. He's a competitor. I love that about him. But is he enough, as we get in deeper, is he enough to carry you against a team like Florida? He wasn't enough to even compete, really, if you want to think about it, against, a team like Alabama. And to be honest with you, if it wasn't for Tennessee's crap defense, he honestly wasn't competing enough in that game to win that game. You know what I'm saying? Stetson Bennett didn't win that game. That defense stood up, So as we get in later to the show, Stetson Bennett is a key to whether they win or lose. I mean, to be honest with you, but 14-3. I mean, that was shocking to me. I honestly thought they'd win that game pretty handily, 35-10, something like that. But
you talking about against Kentucky?
Yes, against Kentucky.
No, indeed.
Yeah.
I knew Kentucky was gonna give Georgia a release run for their money. Like look how they. I'm just saying, look how they beat Tennessee. No one saw that coming.
They lost to Missouri the week before.
I mean, hey, at the end of the day, though, Tennessee threw the ball Kentucky 5 times. And they ran 2 of them back. So that was the difference in that game. Period. So, but anyway, Georgia Tech, man, they had a tough loss. Boston College waxed them 48-27. That shocked me. Just how.
That was a week before last.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, but the 48-27, that just shocked me, man. And I mean, just I don't know, it was a bad week for Georgia overall. It's just like all the teams came out flat. You know, it was just, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to really say, but other than they better wake up for this Saturday, because if they come out flat at 3:30, it's going to be done. That's all I can say, because they're going up against somebody that I don't think is getting enough credit. It's going to be a Heisman contender, and that is Kyle Trask, and it's going to be the Cow to Kyle show all day long if they don't wake up. So I don't know, man. We're in for it. I don't know. Last time I checked the spread, it was around 5. I don't know how it's at 5. I see more of a 3.
3.5.
It's 3.5 now?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's fine. I'd see more 3. I could see that.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see, man. We'll see what we see up. You know, CBS. I mean, 3:30. Tee it up. You know. So
And we got other games. We got Southern versus Troy at 1. They're coming on at ESPN 3. And then Georgia State plays Louisiana Monroe noon on and they're coming on ESPN as well. So
yeah, they are, but it's probably gonna end up being they both are slated for 3, so one of them will just get the alternate.
yeah, it probably more than likely it'll be Troy. Troy's a bigger school than the other two. So
yeah, technically it's their homecoming game. Not that it really matters this year, but
exactly. So yeah, that's pretty much all the games that coming on this Saturday. Tech got a bye, so they really need that in a good way.
yeah.
So yeah, we talked about what's good, JF man. He said Stetson ain't it, man.
I agree.
Yeah, we all agree. Like we
But
thought this man was better than Jake Fromm, and I'm like, I don't know about that.
Well, JT Daniels, I just want y'all to know, like, I mean, his parents have come out, his mom and dad. The guy just isn't healthy. He isn't mobile enough. His knee still locks up on him in practice, okay? Kirby would throw him out there if he could think. I just think he's erring on the side of precaution. I mean, you don't want to end a dude's career. I mean, we saw what happened to him, you know, at USC. So he's just not mobile enough. I mean, his parents have literally come to his defense. So my question is, why did you take him as a transfer? So that's kind of odd to me. You know, we already talked about Jamie Newman and what happened to that debacle, but now you're down to Stetson. So you either go with Stetson, who's won you some ball games, or you go with DeJuan that's, you know, had a really, really bad half against a team who actually turned out to be pretty darn good in Arkansas. I mean, that's like a shock of the year to me in a positive way is what Sam Pittman's done. And that defense they're pretty stout. And, you know, I know we're talking about Georgia and the sports, but Tennessee's got a tall task. Anybody who thinks Tennessee's going to walk in and win that game, you better hammer that 1-point line and take Arkansas as a favorite outright to win that game. They're doing some special things down there. So it's kind of hard to judge DeJuan off one half against somebody we thought was going to be just another walk in the park. So that's Kirby's options right now. You got somebody that can't really play, and then you got somebody that had a really bad half, and you got somebody that's winning you some ball games. So what do? You stay with a hot hand. That's just what he's doing. I mean, you take him out. What are you telling him right now?
Yeah,
you know,
Knight said Georgia needs a new quarterback badly. Look, man, I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. We just gotta. JL said, I'm gonna be real. I want DeJuan to get a lot more playing time than Stetson. We might see that. And I don't know about this game. I don't know against Florida. You don't want to do it against Florida right now.
Well, if Georgia loses Florida, they're done in the East. You might get to see a little DeJuan Mathis after that.
Yeah.
But fans can be happy. They got Brock coming in, and Brock.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. Brock is going to be the future. I'm telling you, if Georgia do not win a natty with Brock, then they need to go ahead and fire Kirby. Because Brock to me, he's going to be a first round draft pick. I don't care. I'm telling you what I know. Look, I done seen the boy play.
I don't care.
And I'm letting you know the boy is good.
I'm letting you know, hey, one play could end his career, so ain't nothing.
Yeah, granted. I'm just saying, one, but that's injuries. I'm just talking about like the talent. The talent. Don't burn bread on the man. But anyway,
we all know that the speed of the game gets real quick when you jump from high school to college. I'm just saying that real quick. So
yeah, it does. But this man right here, man, they comparing this man to to
They don't
some Hall of Fame quarterbacks. I'm just letting you know.
kid, man. You can't put that kind of pressure on a 17-year-old kid. I mean, let the kid come in and do what he's going to do. Trust the process. Trust that Kirby's going to do the right things, and
that's the issue, man. That's what I'm saying. Like if he fails, it's not going to be on him. It's going to be on the coaching. Just like the past couple of years, man. Why Georgia can't get over the hump? It's been coaching.
well, it seems like
making the in-game adjustments against games like South Carolina last year. LSU we just couldn't do nothing with them because they just steamrolled over everybody. And then you go to the year before that, in the SEC championship game, just dumb mistakes that we made against Alabama. He does not have an answer to beat Nick Saban.
Oh, hey, no pun intended, but the state of Georgia is used to blowing a lot of different versions of leads, so we're used to that now. Okay.
Yeah, we are, but like I'm saying, with far as Brock though, man, I'm a huge fan of his. I wanted him to go to the school that I wanted him to go to, but he chose to stay in state, and play. So Georgia's getting a great quarterback next year. So yeah,
is that mystery school Michigan there, Don?
What'd you say? Yes.
Is that mystery school Michigan? Yeah. Yes. Okay.
But I thought it was his destiny because he went to a school that they was named the Wolverines. I'm like, you might as well go to Michigan. You ain't got to worry about changing, But he wanted to stay in state, and I'm like, this could be one of the best quarterbacks that Georgia will ever produce.
And let's not forget, not just that, but I mean, the guy is a hell of a recruiter too. He pretty much sold Marius Mims to Georgia as well, and that guy, he's going to be a monster. I mean, a number 3 overall tackle, and nationally. So, yeah, I mean, guys want to come play for him, so he's got to clearly be something, right?
Yeah, and that's another thing. They're gonna show up the offensive line for years to come. That's why I said.
And that's what at the end of the day, it's to put up or shut up for Kirby because you keep having these top is Alabama, Georgia, in recruiting. You got to win a natty if you keep recruiting like this. If you keep recruiting all these 5 stars and you're not producing on the field, then that's coming back to nothing but coaching. You put yourself in that predicament, and so
kids gonna start going somewhere else. They're gonna probably go to Auburn, and they're gonna go to Florida. They're gonna go to Florida State. There's other schools around they can go to that win.
If you were top tier quarterback, based on what Kirby Smart has done with quarterbacks so far. And like Jake Fromm, we all agree Jake Fromm, good quarterback, right? Did he significantly improve from his freshman year to his senior year, or did he just incrementally improve? I don't think I've seen a massive development project there. I've seen a lot of mismanagement on the offense in general, and I have no idea what sweet nothings Kirby Smart whispers to these quarterbacks. Like, how do you get Jamie Newman and JT Daniels in the same transfer cycle, and then none of them are contributing for you on the quarterback position at all? It boggles my mind why people keep going there. At some point, they're going to wake up and say, I can go to Florida and win a Heisman with Dan Mullen. I could go to Bama, just hand the ball off or throw for 400 yards at the same time while handing it off to Najee Harris. Like, at what point is this going to be exposed?
Well, it's going to be exposed because now you got Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, and he's going to come hard. So they're going to.
Right. Mike Leach, you want to go throw for 600 yards for one game, and then I guess 600 yards for the rest of the season too for Mike Leach right now. But
it goes back to Jacob Eason for me, man. Like, I mean, it's just like this dude has had so many, and like you said, it was baby steps. I saw baby steps for Jake Fromm, but like you said, nothing. I mean, for a guy that's going to be a backup quarterback for a few years and probably be an analyst, but he took baby steps.
I can understand the Jacob Eason thing. Eason was okay at Washington, right? Yeah. But Justin Fields, there's no excuse. There's no excuse to get out of your program.
He didn't fit their style of play, and it's so funny now that their style of play is what they wanted.
Here's the thing, Georgia style play. They sit around him. But Georgia, the thing that is their identity is always run the ball. They're gonna always long as they have them a good running back, that's all they care about. Now, yeah, they had guys like Aaron Murray, they had, Stafford, they had David Green, they had good quarterbacks, but end of the day, people want to see them run the ball. You want to see somebody, they want to see somebody run somebody over. All right, that's just always been UGA's identity. But the thing is though, you have to in the new era of SEC football, you have to have a quarterback.
Was J.K. Dobbins a good running back at Ohio State with Justin Fields last year?
Okay, yeah, I trust. Look, man, don't bring the Ohio State up. I know.
Well, Georgia's MO is easy. They're very good at beating average teams. They just can't match up and beat the elite teams. And to me, Alabama, it's besides this year, because I just think there's too big of a gap in the quarterback, it's so mental. It's almost like it's in their mind, because if you think about those games, they led all but 2 minutes combined. If you want to talk about the SEC championship game and the Natty, it's like it's in their mind, It's almost like, the Georgia curse we talk about, but it's almost like it's real. It's crazy. But this year, the gap in quarterback play, Mac Jones, he's probably going to win the Heisman, to be honest. He probably will. Kyle Trask will probably finish second. I mean, the dude's he's throwing 18 touchdowns to 2 picks or something crazy like that. So Mac Jones will probably win the Heisman if things play out like I think they might.
Najee Harris doesn't take it from him.
yeah, no kidding, right? But there's just too big of a gap in quarterback play that they can't just pound the ball down Bama's throat, because Bama's going to come out there and they're going to score in 4 minutes. And then you put, you know what I'm saying? It's just not going to work. They can't keep up.
Bama, the thing about Saban, his main thing on defense, he always like to stop the run. So you're not going to put up that many yards on the ground.
Georgia's not built to play catch. They're not built to play catch up on the scoreboard. They're not built to chase. Georgia's never been built to chase.
But who was like that early on in their run? Alabama, right? With Saban, right? They had exactly. They play very similar to the way Georgia plays now. But Saban woke up. He evolved. He got Lane Kiffin in there. The Tua thing was just kind of mind-blowing at the time. We all think of it as common sense now, but when Hurts and Tua came in, that was mind-blowing to see Bama made that shift. Saban was out there complaining that the Oregon offense should be illegal because it's going to lead to more injuries.
I mean,
because you're running too many plays. Like, he was out there saying that. The 2 years later, he's winning national titles with the same offense.
That's what makes or break. And look, I don't know how much of it is Saban. I don't know how much of it's the assistants in his ear. But watching the Hurts and the Tua dynamic showed me the greatness of a coach that he was and how he handled it. I don't know if Kirby can do that. Okay, I don't know if Kirby can make those changes, because if he doesn't, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. But if Nick doesn't make the changes that he makes, who knows what happens? You know what I mean? You throw the kid in there, second half, you don't know what's going to happen to that kid when he comes in. And, he pulled it out. So, I don't think that Kirby Smart has it down there to pull at halftime. Say this weekend, Stetson is just not having it. They need a spark at halftime. I don't think Kirby can say, "Oh, I'm going to go to DeJuan Mathis. I'm sorry, he had a really bad first half against, Arkansas. I can't do it." But that might be what they need.
But you know what? I think with Georgia, they need to really. I don't know. Monken is gonna Monken, and he doesn't have to go Nads down there though.
I don't think he's been allowed to play call like he wants to play call though.
And that's the thing. They need to bring in a alpha play caller. Offensive alpha play caller who can come in.
That sounds great.
But yeah, I know. I don't know. But here's my thing. I'm more of an NFL coach person. So I'm college. That's not my cup of tea. But bring in somebody who knows quarterbacks. All right, because the run game is always going to be there. You bring
change it. They brought Monken in to change it, But when you see the play,
he's not getting a final say on quarterback. Like, what I'm trying to say is that Kirby should have a hands-off policy when it comes to quarterbacks, or the play call on offense.
Do you think that changed because Newman said, "All right, I'm out"? Well, now they're like, "Well, guess what? The Mathis experiment didn't work for 2 quarters, so guess what? Now we're stuck with a guy that can't run the offense like we want to. So now he's stuck, kind of. You know what I mean? So is it that kind of dynamic?
Why did Newman go for the record, for us Gator fans who don't follow it.
Per COVID,
and he won't mess up his chances of getting drafted. So.
He said, "I'm going to opt out per COVID, and I'm going to go train for the for the NFL."
Had to up that 6th round stock apparently, huh? Like, wouldn't his stock be like 10 times better if he played at Georgia this year?
He thinks it looks better because they took him.
Jeez.
I know. Hey, all the hype was Newman. Look, like you said, they had a transfer. You know, they were thinking, oh man, Newman. I was skeptical of Newman first. I'm like, look, you're at Wake Forest. You're not playing against the talent that you're going to.
He was good.
I get it. But there's a difference in good and great, and they need somebody great. So, I mean, would it be worked out? I don't know, but he would have damn sure given him a better chance than Stetson, I believe, just isn't being mobile. Because if you think about Alabama, they're vulnerable. They're kind of Alabama and Georgia are very similar too, though. Georgia's very vulnerable against a mobile quarterback as well, though. We've seen that in the past, and so is Alabama. So it's kind of a shame to see. You know, it's saddened to see what has come of this year. We know it's a crazy year, but nothing's really transpired the way I think Kirby and UGA fans, along the way have thought this year was going to happen. Now, look.
Man, I was coming on here. I was hoping to talk a little trash, but I almost feel like I need to give you a pep talk to feel better about this team.
Hey, we're just keeping it real.
You guys are still favored. You guys are still favored on Saturday. You're the sharpest team.
Hey, we haven't gotten to the predictions yet. We haven't gotten to predictions. I'm just telling the truth. Now, I think in my mind, that the mentality of the Georgia-Florida game is basically the mentality of the Alabama-Georgia game. In Georgia fans' eyes, they own you guys, period. So that's just the mentality of a Georgia fan. Look, it's another day that we're going to get some Gator bait.
The last couple of years, though. That's only been the last couple of years. I mean, you go back.
What matters? The last game.
Yeah. But I can certainly tell you, as someone who grew up through the Steve Spurrier area, we do not look at the Georgia uniforms with any fear whatsoever. That's an older Gator thing from back in the 80s, 70s, 60s. Georgia owned the rivalry.
So I grew up with Phil Fulmer.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
You guys, Tennessee, Michigan, and Georgia. This is like the worst combination of sports teams on here, guys.
Me and Don. That's why we get along so well. We understand each other.
Yeah, it's weird. But like I support Georgia. I support college Georgia teams. It ain't like I hate them because Michigan is in a whole different conference, and we know the Big Ten is trash. So, hey.
We can have Nick back on for a special show when Florida has to come to Tennessee in December. That's going to be interesting. The fact that we're playing in this, I mean, that's just weird, right? That y'all are that don't even seem right.
Sounds cold.
Yeah, I mean, literally. And hey, it could be a lot on the line for that game. I mean, nobody's going to pick Tennessee. We don't know what this game's going to truly come out. I mean, that could decide the East for Florida. You know what I mean? So. It's a lot on the line, man. So, but
really, it's all about Saturday right now, and that's what we got to get the Georgia. The Georgia thing is a little bit of a monkey on our program's back right now. We got to get that off of us and get back to where it's been a decade. This program, Florida, has been down for a decade, and really need to get back to where they were in those times. And I really believe in what Dan Mullen's building. I believe it's getting back to those times. The offense this year is absolutely elite national championship level caliber offense on the offensive side of the ball.
How many players got suspended from that brawl?
Zach Carter got suspended for a half. He was one of the guys that threw a punch. And Dan Mullen got fined $25K.
Okay.
So honestly, COVID shortened season. Do you really want to see a lot of suspensions in that type of incident? Maybe Georgia does, but
I don't know about suspensions, but I want to see a little bit more come down on Dan Mullen because that's exactly what Kiffin got fined. I believe was $25,000 for. So I think Dan Mullen deserved a little bit more than that.
That's common criticism. It wasn't a great look. Definitely caught up in the heat of the moment, frustration. He went full on WWE in the tunnel too, with all the fist pumping, and the Darth Vader costume afterward probably didn't help him a ton.
Hey, look, but my thing is this
objectively, it's entertaining and hilarious, and that's what I'm here for.
In my mind, it's funny because guess what? He's being safe. He's got a mask on. I thought it was hilarious. You know what? If your team coach came after that, you really wouldn't be hating. You'd be laughing like anybody else.
I love it. Look,
I get it. I know that the players are sad that it's that COVID's shut down Mullen's wife from being able to say hey to him before the game and off the bus. So we all understand that.
Big moment. Big moment.
So, but look, this game this weekend is going to come down to if the banged up defense can. I mean, they know they're going to try to double team him, which is going to leave some opens. Can they stop Kyle Pitt? Can they stop
that right there? Oof.
No.
He is a matchup nightmare.
You know who would be good to try to stop him? Do you have an All-American safety you can use to really spy him for the day?
Man, whatever, man.
that would have been nice. That would have been nice. But let me tell you something about Pitts that's interesting. He's a total freak. He's 6'6". He can catch it in stride and take it the distance. He can high point the ball, back shoulder. Trask is super accurate, which is why these two are absolutely lethal, particularly in the red zone. He only has 22 catches on the season, though, but 7 of them are for touchdowns. He's got 16.1 yard per reception average, and really, what's been happening is early in the games, he'll get off on 2 or 3 catches on the first reception, on the first drive, and then maybe a couple more catches in the second half. And you don't hear much from him from the second half because they're keying in on him at halftime.
I heard a report that he said he's kind of fine taking that back door because he's getting double teamed so much, but this is leaving so much open for the field for Trask, and he's okay that they're going to do that. But when we get down to the red zone, that's when it turns into his time.
Well, and that's exactly the point I was going to make too. Is when you double team Kyle Trask and you focus all your energy on him, it opens up the running game for us. The offensive line is still not awesome. We saw that last year. Big edge to Georgia last year in the trenches. Kyle Trask was under pressure all day. That defensive line dominated Florida up front. Florida barely can run the ball last year. And I think this year, though, there's so many weapons on the outside that's going to have to be a little more conservative on the pass rush for Georgia. But Kadarius Toney is really the next weapon.
To talk about him.
And for anyone who's more of an NFL guy, they're Kadarius Toney, Tyreek Hill. He's a speedster. We got him out running routes a little more this year. But the difference between him and in years past, this year and years past, I feel like he's added a huge degree of physicality to his game. If you watch the guy, he hardly ever gets tackled on the first time. He goes down. It takes 2 or 3 guys to get him down. Not only is he tough to catch, but he's going to run through tackles too. And I think that's made a huge difference this year. I don't know if y'all caught the highlight clip last week where it looked like he pressed the B button, spin move, broke out of Missouri, all SEC linebacker Nick Bolton. Nick Bolton, if you haven't watched much of his tape at Missouri, great linebacker, broke that tackle, spun, and worked his way into the end zone. Absolutely unbelievable highlight reel, Kadarius Toney.
I'm not trying to go back, but we talk about development, right? And you were talking about growth of Jake Fromm. Kyle Trask didn't even start a high school football team, right?
Yeah, you know who the starter was?
I have no idea.
Derek King, Houston quarterback that transferred to Miami.
Yeah, I know he is.
They went to the same high school. So Trask was his backup.
You want to talk about progression. Think about where he was, though. Even at Florida think about over a year how much – we're talking about a true Heisman candidate now. We talk about progression. That's a lot,
And that's what we talked about. If you want to talk about some main differences between this year and last year, last year this was about his 5th or 6th start. This is a new guy to the system. He was still learning a little bit last year. This year, it's almost like I would say Joe Burrow is an absolute freak. Like what he did with LSU, that jump from junior to senior year, right? We're just not statistically going to see that. So everyone was like, "Oh, who's this year's Joe Burrow?"
Oh,
there's no this year's Joe Burrow because that was like such a one-off thing. But the closest thing to it we've seen in college football this year, Mac Jones and Kyle Trask. Those guys have been absolute.
Well, my thing is this: I feel like Kyle Trask made more strides in 6 months than Colin Hill has in how many years. So it blows my mind. It's like, you hate to see it sometimes. Especially for the teams that you root against. It's just like it's kind of mind numbing. It's kind of just like wow.
You got Dan Mullen in there, and all the criticism you could talk about Mullen in terms of maybe the PR type stuff. The one thing you can't criticize is the man knows how to develop quarterbacks. And that is one thing we have been missing since Tim Tebow walked out the door is having a legit quarterback. He revived Felipe Franks. I think he pumped him up with confidence. And even though Franks wasn't the guy, in my opinion, you're seeing how good he's playing at Arkansas this year. He's good enough to get it done. Much better than where he started before.
Why y'all brought him. That's why y'all brought him from Mississippi State, because the work he did with Dak Prescott.
I mean,
absolutely.
The dude's 6'5". I don't know how much he weighs, 230, 240. He's a big dude. I mean, you're talking about a pro-ready built quarterback.
Yeah. I think he's got first-round potential in the draft. The thing about Trask, the knock I'll put on him is he's so aggressively. You ever see those quarterbacks with happy feet? He's the total opposite. He's so aggressive about keeping his eyes downfield that he gets a little unaware sometimes. We saw it last week with Missouri. He got hit. He had almost no awareness that a blitzing player is coming through the middle and just absolutely leveled him as he was throwing the ball. The ball popped up for an easy interception. The Mizzou defender took it the other way for a pick six. Right. He gets in a little bit of trouble with that. Maybe you could get a strip sack on him because he doesn't necessarily have great awareness all the time in the pocket, but he's so good most of the time that you can let go a couple.
I know it's probably a weird comparison, but like one of his greatest strengths is the ability to extend the plays, right? And Burrow was able to do that too, but he reminds me of like a different version though of like Big Ben.
That's hilarious that you say that because that's actually the comparison I've been using for him. I mean, very much big body dude, tough to bring down.
He got it. Yeah, he got that size, and then he's mobile. He can get out of the pocket and make plays. Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, he is mobile, but when you watch him run, you don't feel like you're watching a mobile quarterback. He almost looks like he's going in slow motion, but he's 6'5", so he's covering a lot of ground with those legs.
He's dragging dudes too, though, man. He's hard to put down, so I mean, he's going to stiff arm. He's not going to just take a slide. He's going to run you over. So
that's a great comparison, though. I absolutely think he's a Ben Roethlisberger type, and I think he's got that type of arm too, where he can just absolutely launch it.
I was gonna say that too. Like, far as his arm strength, it reminds me of like Philip Rivers back in the day, like when he first started playing for the Chargers those first few years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if anybody's been watching Georgia this year, I mean, which we all have, I mean, if you go back, it pains me, but if you go back to the Tennessee game, you got to exploit their weaknesses. Go for those 50-50 balls, okay? Go for that secondary. That's got to be a place that I think Florida's going to attack, quite frankly. They throw the ball a lot. So that's what they're going to have to do. Do you agree that that's something they're going to do is attack that secondary to be successful? Because I just don't think the running game is going to be enough to win that game.
I mean, there's few play callers in college football that are more aggressive than Dan Mullen, and the Florida offense is not necessarily built on downfield shots.
Yeah.
They'll take them when they're there, but they're not going to force anything. So they're going to beat you side to side. They're going to beat you on crossing routes. If we can get the running game going, and it's the mix of everything that is lethal and kills you eventually, and then you put it in the hands. What's great about this team right now is just the diversity of playmakers. I mean, we got guys like Trevon Grimes, solid senior wide receiver. He doesn't get a lot of action though, because we have a lot of other. But he's a big body dude that could definitely go up and get one in the red zone. But some of these guys, they don't get a ton. Jacob Copeland, great receiver. We got a 5-star transfer from Penn State. Justin Shorter, he's had like 3 receptions all season. It's not because they're bad players. It's just there's a lot of mouths to feed on the offense, which is why you see a guy like Kyle Pitts. On another team, he probably has 50 catches. He's only got 22 in Gainesville right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's you got to share the wealth. It's kind of tough, right? I mean, so it's a key matchup, offense versus defense, right? It's see which one is going to prevail. I mean, that's what's going to come down to Georgia's defense and what they're able to produce out there on the field, body wise versus one of the more well-oiled machines in the SEC overall. So,
but up front, Georgia, I feel like Georgia still has that edge up front, and that's what, as a Gator fan, concerns me, because last year we were made into a one-dimensional offense in that game. They didn't put the ball in the end zone until the fourth quarter. This offense is too good. You're not going to keep them to that this year. But if that Georgia defensive front can dominate in anywhere close to what they did last year against the Gators, that's going to be a solid recipe.
Georgia, they got to get some pressure on Kyle. They got to pressure him.
The defensive line got to step up in this game because
he is known to make a mistake. Well, I mean, he's done a great job this year, but in the past, he's known to make a bad throw here or there. He's done a great job this year protecting the ball. I think that's one of the biggest kind of transitions I've seen is his awareness. Hey, just throw the thing out of bounds. Don't try to do too much. And that just comes with practice and coaching, right? So, but if Georgia's going to be successful, they've got to get after him. Somebody has got to rush the edges. And we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. But I think it's going to be more of the – and I'm happy, okay? I'm excited. It's going to be more of one of the more entertaining games. I think it could easily be a fourth-quarter game. It's been sloppy. I feel like the Georgia-Florida games have been sloppy the last couple of years for Florida, if you just want to kind of be honest. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to a more competitive game all around. So we'll see. I mean, it's going to be a fun game. I'm ready for football. I was happy for some action last night. I'm just ready to watch some more football, man.
Exactly.
well, if the Gators get out, I'm going to be really hoping that they can follow the trend. They've scored in all 4 games this season. They've scored on the first drive, 3 touchdowns and 1 field goal. If they can get out in front and make Stetson Bennett chase, that's going to be a solid way to play all day. Just
you just brought up some history because we talked about this last year. Whoever scores first in the game, normally wins. And that's the thing. If Georgia scores first, they win. If Florida scores first, they win. It's always been like that for the past, I'm gonna say 20 years now. So.
Well, so we've done all the time talking about the Florida offense versus Georgia defense, strength on strength. But let's flip over to that other side. And you look at, we talked a lot about Stetson Bennett, but the Florida defense has not exactly been stellar this year. Big step back from where we've been the last few years. And it's a combination of a lot of things, mostly just missing players or breaking in new players. That secondary really struggled. Ole Miss is not exactly a game you want to open with Lane Kiffin right now. And after the A&M game, I'm pretty sure most of the fan base in Gainesville is ready to fire Todd Grantham, but Georgia fans might know something about that.
That defense, to begin the year, I won't say anything other than atrocious. It was, I get, missing camp, but, and time and practice and everything, but hasn't gotten a whole lot better. So, it's gotten my bad. Come on. A little bit of defense, and you're looking at an undefeated team, right? Let's be real. So that defense will ultimately make or break, what happens with you guys, to me, for the whole season. So
they did play better last week against Missouri, and we saw that Missouri team. They ran up and down the field at LSU. They played a more defensive game with Kentucky, but I'll tell you what, I don't know how much Missouri football you guys have watched this year, but that Bazelak kid, he looks like he's going to be a good quarterback in the SEC.
I watched enough. Tennessee was good enough after they beat him, and that turned out to be nothing. So, it's been an odd year, but Missouri has made some strides, and he actually was getting a little bit of his first action against us, and I was like, oh man, this kid's good, and he, you're right, that kid's a baller, man.
He can sling it. There was one play in the first half. The only play that I could really complain about was the defense against Missouri, where a guy had the secondary beat deep and the ball hit his hands and fell. But Bazelak made a perfect throw. But Missouri dropped it luckily on it.
Missouri normally always get some good quarterbacks. Missouri normally have good quarterbacks coming out. They had Drew Lock, they had Blaine Gabbert. Whatever you take, whatever you want to say on that. Chase Daniel
back in the day. Yeah, you got to go. Yeah, and credit to Eli Drinkwitz, because I thought it was going to be a long year and a big time field for them. And they've been solid so far.
Another thing that we haven't really talked about is special teams. And boy, does Georgia got a hell of a punter. Holy hell. So if this turns into be a field position game, you never know, right? You back Kyle up and make you guys go 90 yards. They replace Hot Rod, and in the field goal unit's been solid. So the special teams can play in these kind of games. If it comes down, to a time of possession, kind of a field possession, those kind of things. The key is, like you said, does Georgia play from behind? That's tough. If they keep it close, I just feel like the edge goes kind of goes Georgia's way. Just the trends if they keep it close. But yeah, the chances with Stetson coming back from behind the deficit, Georgia can't come out flat. Let's just be honest. They cannot come out flat this game. I don't believe they'll come out flat. They just got to execute. So, it's kind of put up or shut up now. It's, a day and we're going to go ball. So I do think they'll do everything in their power to shut down Kyle Pitts. And I think, like you said, that opens up a lot of options for Trask down the field and the running game. So it's going to come down, like we say, and Don loves it. Don's the coach of sports. He's the godfather of coaching. It's going to come down to the trenches as well. And Georgia is so good in the trenches. We all know that. So we're gonna see that. We'll see what plays out on both sides of the ball. Can they pressure him? What can Georgia's D-line, O-line do? Can they, give Stetson time to make his progressions and his reads? Because that's something that he does need a little bit. Because he will be a little flight of foot, and we saw that in the Kentucky game. And to be honest, that's why the game was so close. Some of them just floated those balls up, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, hey, throw the ball away. You just floated the ball up. You can't do that against Florida, and you play that way against Florida, you will not survive. I can promise you that.
You're going to need to throw it more than 13 times.
Yep.
I mean, I was a little stunned with that performance they had last week.
Got gunshot. They knew what was going to win that game. They said, well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get an ugly win.
Right. But my big thing is on the defensive side of the ball for the Gators, I need to see them not give up the big play. And I'm not talking about a nice run here or there, but I'm talking about the Lawrence Cager wide open in the fourth quarter play. All right? That's what we're still having nightmares about that one because they had worked their way back in the game. You're like, all right, Cager's wide open. But again, it's all or nothing a little bit with Grantham. We had the first game of last season, we had 10 sacks against Miami.
Yeah.
And then we lose the Georgia game because we blow a coverage and Cager's wide open. So I think the one thing that you need to see on the defensive end for Florida, it's not going to be perfect. Georgia, you're going to have your opportunities, but can we limit the disaster plays? Can we limit the 55-yard touchdown pass that the guy's wide open on? Like, make Bennett pick and work his way down the field. That's what I want to see from the defense on Saturday.
All right, let's get to predictions. All right, everybody in the chat, go ahead and drop your predictions for the game. Go ahead and start with you, Rick.
Yeah. Like Nick's made a lot of good points, as far as how he thinks this game's going to play out on both sides of the ball. I think Georgia's defense is so stifling. They're so stingy. So I think Georgia's defense is going to do enough to keep them in the game. Does Stetson Bennett rise to the occasion and have this signature game, per se, that he hasn't had yet? I also talked about, special teams. So, with that being said, I'm going to go UGA 27, Florida 24.
All right. Nick?
Well, the Gators didn't get in the red zone until the fourth quarter last season. They had 21 total yards rushing. I don't see that being the story on Saturday. Even on the last TD drive, if y'all remember this, Georgia forced Trask to get rid of the ball quickly, and it was a 17-play, 7-minute drive. And as a Florida fan, we're just going nuts watching it. Like, let's go, take a shot downfield. But that was in part because Georgia's pressure was so good. He just had to get the ball out. So I don't think Florida has improved drastically up front on the offensive line, but I do hope that Kyle Trask is going to win that Heisman Trophy on Saturday and just absolutely go off and have a day because it's on his shoulders. I think he can handle the weight this year. He was still fresh and raw last year. I mentioned that earlier. Different animal, different guy this year. Trask, Pitts, Tony, they take care of business. They overcome a few errors on the defensive side of the ball, and the Gators get a 38-20 win on the banks of the St. Johns River. I think Grantham and the defense, they go all out to shut down the running game and put it in the hands of the Georgia quarterback. And I think that ends up working out for the Gators. So Gators 38-20.
Put some money on that one. Wow.
Yeah, wow. All right. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Georgia win this game 28. Florida 20.
I think it's going to be a close. I mean, 38-20. Woo-wee! Man.
Pulling away late.
How would you call this game if Georgia was completely healthy on defense?
I think that the only reason you're seeing that kind of spread for me, I think the Richard LeCount injury is a big deal. I think that's a huge, huge deal. If LeCount's playing, I'm probably look, I'm the Gator guy. I got the Gator hat on. I'm gonna pick the Gators, right? I probably am calling that within a field goal or something. I think it's that big of a deal.
Game, right? I'd say it's a one-score game. So
yeah, I think it's right where Vegas has it. But the LeCount thing is, I think that's a big deal. That's a big deal for Georgia.
No doubt.
All right. Well, JF, he said, I'm not too sure on the score, but I do think Florida wins, to be honest, because of injuries to defense, but mainly because we have Stetson as our quarterback. Man, he's just throwing Stetson on the bus. It'd be funny to, man, come out and ball Saturday, though, but, hey, I'm not finna sit up there and say that, but anyway.
How good's the JT Daniels knee information on that? Is that's pretty accurate stuff?
Yeah, that's reliable. I mean, that's some pretty. It's reliable.
Yeah. Okay, because I haven't heard anything. I've been sitting here. I'm writing articles like, why in the hell is JT Daniels not getting a shot?
What you want to know? What you might find out this weekend if Dewan. Sorry, guys, Dewan's not coming out there. If any way possible, JT Daniels. I don't know what kind of true reps he's getting in practice. Okay, I just know it's getting fed to me. If it is as bad as it is, then he won't come on the field. If he's truly able to play, and like I said, they need that spark at halftime, why wouldn't you put JT Daniels out there, okay? Why wouldn't you? So if he doesn't come out, if Georgia is trailing at the half, okay, and Stetson is not playing well, all right, and that doesn't just necessarily mean picks. If he's just not performing, he's not the guy, and you can tell that early on pretty much, it's not going to be Dewan. We can go ahead and get that out of the way. If JT doesn't come out there, then that's not Kirby being normal Kirby. That's just the information that I believe that I've been given is just he's not able to perform. So
the real thing is what's Ray UGA saying about it on Twitter?
Ray UGA? Oh, you know what he's saying? He's saying it don't matter, man. Bring me out there. I'm gonna throw 7 touchdowns for you. Bring me out there. That's what Ray UGA is saying. Man, you want? Woo! We need to try to get that guy on.
Well, he's probably in a bunker somewhere. I know Dan Mullen's after him.
JL said, "I hope Stetson balls out, but he don't put any stock in that." So
hey, I mean, you know what? Unfortunately, I mean, who knows? Mel might run late this game.
Yeah.
Hey, let's be real. Let's be real though with Stetson. He's been a good story. He's just not going to be that guy to take you to the next level. Y'all are talking about winning national titles and beating Alabama. He's not that guy. But he's been a plenty good. Like, I mean, he was essentially your lineup coming into the season was Newman and then Mathis, and then he was essentially your third, or Daniels even maybe, essentially your third or fourth string quarterback coming into this season. The guy starting for you all.
I mean, but this is UGA, all right, and they've been past due winning a natty. They should have already won one. All right, if you want a good story, turn around Lifetime or watch a 30 for 30. We're not here to watch good stories. I mean, let's be real.
Exactly.
They want to win. The fans want to win. The alumni want to win. The former players want to win. So good stories are great. Like I said, if it's a good story, go grab the person you love and turn on Lifetime or network. I don't care, but stop. Well, I mean, yeah, the mailman, cool. You had to wear a hat to stand out while you're at the camps. That's awesome. You know what? If you don't deliver on Saturday, then you can't be called the mailman anymore. I'm sorry, take it away. Mailman delivers. So if he don't deliver on Saturday, they just need to take that away, man.
You can't even call him paper boy.
Oh man, that's deep. I don't know. You might be onto something there. You could call him paper boy.
No, man.
He might turn into a bench warmer if they could find somebody.
Hey.
But he's right. I mean, Nick's right. Don's right. The game's going to come down to what can Georgia do to stop the Kyle show, and what Stetson are we going to get? And then a lot of that's going to be up to what defense Florida shows up as well. So it'll be a fun game. I'm excited for it. So it'll be competitive early. We know that, but we'll see. It's gonna be interesting, and we all know we need a break from everything. And what better break than to watch the biggest cocktail party? So it's be a fun weekend. I'm excited. Y'all say a prayer for me, man. If we lose to Arkansas, I don't know what I'm gonna do. John, I'll say a prayer to you because you guys got Indiana, and I don't even know what kind of team you guys really are. I thought y'all were a top 10 team, week one.
Man, look, man. Let me tell you something, man. Look, we always sometimes went to bed against Michigan State and Penn State. Those games, Ohio State, we never have a chance with them. But Penn State and Michigan State, those are not when it's any year with those teams.
You know why? Because you still got Jim. So fire him.
Look, man, we've been trying to get rid of this, man. And then you got dumb Falcons fans talking about, man, we need to bring Harbaugh in as a head coach.
Oh.
For what?
God, no.
Oh, man, I just can't.
I know.
I ain't finna get into that because that'd be 30 more minutes of talking. So anyway, but hey, Nick, man, appreciate you coming on the show. Let everybody know again who you are and where they can find you.
My name's Nick Knudesen. You can find me on American Football Stories podcast. Yeah, we're on Apple Podcasts or YouTube. American Football Stories podcast, and also I write for a website called Read and Reaction. So if you guys need to spy on some Florida Gators, a lot of good Florida Gator coverage. I try to write a little more in the SEC, and I usually have a segment every week called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly with UGALY. So get a little bit of Georgia coverage in there for you, but y'all probably won't like it that much.
Well, hey, man, appreciate you. Go ahead, man.
Appreciate you guys having me on, too.
Hey, man, we appreciate you coming on, too, man. We enjoyed it, man. Everybody in the what'd you say?
I said it's going to be the good, Georgia's uniforms. The bad, the bad.
All right. Everybody who watched live, man, appreciate y'all watching us live. I know I haven't been for my iTunes people, not iTunes, but Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I need to catch up on loading stuff up. Just give me time. It's just been crazy these past couple of weeks. Everybody who watching this at a later time, hey, hit us up in the comment section. Let us know the prediction of the game before Saturday. People who new to the channel, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. All right, we over 1K. We trying to get to 2K now. Hit that like button. Share this content out with other college sports fanatics. As always, come holla at your hometown sports podcast. This is your boy, the Don, Rick Flex. Hey, we out. We'll see y'all Sunday.
All right, guys. Be good.
Tell them boys playtime's up. Tell them put the house on me. They can put the house on me. Tell them put the house on me. Tell them boys playtime's up. Tell them put the house on me. They can put the house on me. Tell them put the house on me. Tell them boys playtime's up. Tell them put the house on me. They can put the house on me. Tell them put the house on me. house on me. Tell them boys playtime's up. Tell them put the house on me. They can put the house on me. Tell them put the house on me. Tell them put the house on me. They can put the house on me. Tell them put the house on me. Tell them boys playtime's up. Tell them put the house on me. They can put the house on me. Tell them put the house on me. Tell them boys playtime's up. Tell them put the house on me. They can put the house on me. Tell them put the house on me. Tell them boys playtime's up. Tell them put the house on me. They can put the house on me. Tell them